John, tell us more about McAndrews.
Well, I think we should point out our understanding is that when Pandora went to look for their new CEO, it looked everywhere. It wasn't looking at a very, one specific industry. It came back with a handful of names that really appealed. Brian was at the, right at the top of that list, and it worked out for them. What we have to understand when it comes to the stock story with Pandora is that over the last few months, what has been fueling it, the financial performance, the fact that the company is finding out, more effective ways to implement more advertising into the music experience without, disrupting the user experience. It's a really important, thing. Seems like a small thing. It's incredibly important. So here's somebody who, for the last decade, has been navigating the digital marketing waters and who can, right off the bat, add to that, and also, add some perspective from being someone who worked in traditional media, who's on the board, for example, the New York Times. Our understanding is actually Pandora at one point had reached out to him for a possible board position. But probably more importantly, this is a long-term bet for Pandora. I mean, if you think about Pandora as a platform, just as you might think of, say, something like Netflix as a platform, we don't yet know how exactly the story is going to play out. We don't know if Pandora has more opportunities, maybe outside of what it's doing right now, even though it seems to be very focused on, hey, we're Pandora, we're taking business away from traditional radio. Here's somebody who's spent a lot of time thinking about how businesses change, how business models can be scrapped very quickly, and of course, really made his name with the sale of Aquantive to Microsoft for, roughly $6 billion.
Now, John, we know one of the biggest issues for Pandora is how much it pays out in royalties. That's the biggest issue for the bottom line. Pandora is gearing up to make its case in Washington on this issue. Why not pick a CEO that specializes in something more like this?
Yeah, well, you're right. There's no bigger cost than that for them, and their concern over the years has been there are some that don't have the same kind of royalty rates that Pandora has to pay. Our understanding is that the D.C. issues focused on it, and it was important for Brian to know what was going on there, but that they view that as sort of, part of the story, but not the long-term story, and that they weren't necessarily looking for sort of a D.C. or legal expert to lead the company forward. Emily?